Hello, welcome back. So this video, I did not write a script this time. I have no points. I didn't do like actual research for this in this aspect. Yeah, this is just really me going off on a lecture slash tangent about healthy relationships. Okay, I did a poll. People said that they wanted a video on healthy relationships. I'm going to give a clinical perspective on it. Again, this is catered towards my Black men, this video. Where do I begin? I'd like to first start out by saying, with relationships in general, Black men, I am begging you to consider compatibility. That is the number one thing here. I always hear relationship advice about not dating women that have kids. Don't, date women who are obese, bigger, whatever. Don't do this, don't do that, right? But I never really heard advice about compatibility. And I'm really confused about that because with compatibility, okay, you are assessing who you are as a person, right? You need to do an inventory of yourself. What are your needs? Okay, not what are your needs compared to, what are your boys telling you or what's society telling you that you need? What is it that you need? Okay. And I really emphasize that because people have kinks that I have never seen before or heard of. Okay. Just yesterday, I learned that there is a gut punch kink. Okay. And if you're brave, go ahead and Google that and see what it's about. Okay. People have very unique needs. Now, I get that a lot of relationship gurus are more so focused on, the big picture of start your own family, marry someone that, isn't problematic, someone that's submissive, whatever, right? I'm not really going to dig into that too much because those take their own separate videos. I mean, those things are fine to consider, but we can't take away the individuality, which I think is often taken out of context, not out of context, which is not even considered. So for instance, I know that a lot of relationship gurus will say, that there's a lot of anomalies, like, oh yeah, that 6 at best married that rich man, but that's a one-off thing. That doesn't always happen, right? So I really encourage you to read the book, The Black Swan. And this book talks about how as humans, we are conditioned to rely on patterns, and that always ends up as our demise because we think anomalies are just happenstance and they don't really matter, but they do. They matter significantly because Black Swans are events that really change the whole trajectory of something. For instance, COVID, right? That's considered a Black Swan. So what does that mean for relationships? Again, the individuality. Everyone has had Black swans or events in their life that has shaped who they are, their perception to this world, and how they relate to this world. So that will also heavily influence their compatibility with a partner. But if you are so stuck on the big picture or the rules, the social status rules, that you're no longer even considering your own individuality or uniqueness or needs, your relationships are always going to fail. It doesn't matter if you listen to a relationship guru who tells you, oh, find someone that has a degree, find someone that, is fit, friendly, and submissive. Yeah, you can find that person. But if that person is a walking trigger for you from something that has happened to you, then that person is just essentially useless to you. So with healthy relationships, I always say the number one thing, it begins with yourself. You have to assess who you are as a person. What are your values? What are your needs? And what are your wants? When you're with a relationship with someone, you're combining two stories, right? And that's hard to do, right? Imagine reading a book. You're reading a book, The Three Little Pigs, and then it just cuts off when the wolf blows down the first house and you done jump to Snow White. Whoa, what has happened here, right? We done lost the character. Stuff is not missing. There's not a flow or a connection between the two stories. You might have two stories that absolutely do not need to be together, right? So that's kind of how you need to see yourself. You need to see yourself in your story and determine, does my story blend in well or lead in well into the story of enough of the other person that you're trying to pursue or to be with? I think that's a great analogy and a way to view and reflect things. Another thing about healthy relationships, again, going to the fact of assessing who you are as a person, is understanding, why do you have so much hate for other people that you don't want? Now, clinically, I can give you an explanation about the projection and the intricacies of why people do that. Absolutely can do that, and assess you about that, right? But you got to do that for yourself, right? Why is it that, you're on the internet screaming about Western women that, they don't fit your narrative or whatever it is? What does that have to do with you? I guess I'm always trying to wonder, and someone can explain to me that, because, for instance, if you are this man, this high value, powerful man that the women are just flying to, I guess I'm confused as to, well, then why do you even care what the woman with 4 baby fathers or doesn't look as attractive says that she wants a man that makes $200,000 a year? I guess, why does that, grind your gears? Why does it just make you so angry if it's not part of your story? But whatever, that's all besides the point. The point is, if you yourself are looking for a healthy relationship, the number one thing I'm just begging you to consider is compatibility. Are you compatible with the person in a healthy, productive way? Right? Because you could also be compatible with the person in a very toxic way, where you guys feed on each other and make each other completely worse, compatibly worse. So that is my tidbit on healthy relationships. Of course, there's more other things such as communication and all those other wonderful things too. And I can do a video on that if you are interested. So yes, that was my rant / lecture on that. So hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe and I'll do more videos eventually. But anyways, thanks for coming.